Բարև ձեզ սիրելի հեշտայտող բարեկամներ, անգամ եւս կողջուն եմ ձեզ AMGA հեռուստաընկերության մեր այսօրվա հիմնակար հաղորդաշարը։ Շատ հետաքրքրական ես հարցազրույց ունեմ մեր տաղավարներս մի անձնավորություն, որ կարծեմ արդեն մի քանի անգամներ եք դուք այստեղ տեսել, նորություն չէ եւ պետք է որ խոսենք շատ կարեւոր նյութերու մասին։ Իր անունը Eric Early է։ Բայց ուրեմն եկեք նաև անգլերենով բացումը կատարենք, որովհետև այսօրվա մեր ծրագիրը պիտի երկլեզու անգլերեն եւ հայերեն։ Dear viewers, you're watching AMGA channel and the show is Himnakar. Translated into English is Cornerstone. As you all well know, we strongly believe that a healthy family is the cornerstone of healthy society. Yes, as I mentioned in Armenian, that I have a very interesting guest today. Of course, he's not new to AMGA. He is always our friend, Eric Early. So, good evening, Eric. Thank you for coming. I know you're very busy, but thank you for sparing a few minutes for us because it's very important to educate our viewers and the community itself. So before I start with my questions, let me introduce you to our public, those who are first time seeing you. So Eric Early, he is attorney and managing a partner of Early Sullivan Law Firm, but also, I have to add to this, he was the official Republican candidate for Congress, and you were running against Adam Schiff.
That is correct, Stefan. I ran against Schiff for Congress. We had an incredible campaign, thousands of volunteers, and I had huge support in the Armenian American community, and I am incredibly grateful for the support I received.
And again, thank you for your time because a person with your caliber, it's very important that we listen, hear, and also follow. About 2 weeks ago, when our governor, Newsom, signed very interesting law to release almost 76,000 inmates, he was using the excuse of coronavirus, but at the same time also financial and so on. So let's talk about it today, about this issue, because many citizens are very concerned about it, and let's see what we can do. And meanwhile, don't mind me because I'm going to jump in and going to summarize and put it in Armenian.
Do whatever you do, Stefan.
Thank you. So, it's all yours.
Listen, California is what I've been calling now for a few years a criminal's paradise. And it's all thanks to these just outrageous rules, laws, regulations that have come out of what I call the Politburo. And the Politburo Sacramento. We've been under one-party rule for many years now. And as I know all your viewers know, and I know you know, one-party rule is never good. Just call somebody in North Korea and ask them what they think about how good one-party rule is, assuming you ever get somebody on the phone, which you can't. Here in California, we have what's called a supermajority up in our legislature, meaning there are so many Democrat assembly people and senators that, notwithstanding the fact that we've got some great Republicans up there, because of the numbers, the Democrat elected officials can get anything passed they want to get passed. Republicans can't stop it. And then, of course, you got Newsom right now, the governor, who's far left, and you've got an attorney general I got serious problems with, all on down the line. And they are supporters of, among other things, this new thing that's coming down where Newsom is going to empty the prisons of 76,000 people. It's going to be spread out over time, but we already have a terrible rise in crime in the state of California over the last couple of years. And you know, we don't need to be geniuses on this stuff. We just follow common sense. You empty the prisons. If some of these people are hardened criminals, we know what's coming. And, you know, I support law and order. I support law enforcement. I want our people to be safe. In fact, really the #1 job of an elected official is to keep the people safe.
Sure.
But these people who are running the Politburo keep coming up with one reason after another to justify putting criminals on the streets. And it's amazing they keep getting away with it. We got to stop it.
Ուրեմն հարցումս հետևյալն էր, որ Էրիկ Էրլին, թե մոտավորապես 2 շաբաթ առաջ գավերնոր այս մեր նահանգապետ Նյուսոմը ինքը առաջարկած էր եւ ստորագրած էր մի կարևոր օրենք, որ Կալիֆոռնիա նահանգի մեջ ընդհանրապես 76,000 մարդիկ, ովքեր պիտի ուրեմն փանդերի մեջ են այսօր տարբեր հոդվածներով, տարբեր քրեական հոդվածներով եւ դրանք պիտի ազատ արձակվին։ Հիմա հարցը դրվում Էրիկ Էրլի կողմից, թե արդյոք որքանով է ճիշտ, որովհետեւ այս վերջին տասնյակ տարիներուն Կալիֆոռնիա նահանգը կառավարվում էր միայն մեկ այսպես ասած քաղաքական գուսակցության կողմէ, դա դեմոկրատներն են։ Իհարկե կան նաև ռիփաբլիկաններ օրենսդիր մարմնի մեջ, ըլլա սենատի մեջ, ըլլա նաև նահանգային օրենսդիր մարմնի մեջ, բայց կարևորը այդ է, որովհետև երբ որ մեծամասնությունը դեմոկրատ են ու ուզածնին կրնանն են։ Հիմա այս 76,000 մարդ, որ պիտի փանդեն դուրս գա եւ փողոցները լեցվի, հիմա հարցը սադիկա է, թե ինչ պետք է անել։ So my question...
How do you do that? That's unbelievable. How does he translate everything I just said?
I was trying to summarize.
Oh my God.
Yes. So,
that's a talent.
Eric, my question is, first let's see how legal this was. Was this by the California legislation approved, or just the governor signed? How this thing works?
Well, normally it should be by statute. It should be something that, you know, the way we get our statutes in this state, it has to go through the assembly, it has to go through the state senate, it has to be approved, there has to be a bill, and once it's approved, then the governor can sign it or not sign it. Okay. Frankly, I'm not exactly sure what he did here with this bill, but I'm not aware of it going through that process. Mm-hmm. And I'm very concerned because we have this governor, that Newsom, who's now the subject of a fabulous recall campaign. And oh, by the way, I'm the lead lawyer for Recall Gavin 2020. And one of the reasons he is, this recall has been so successful, his recall campaign, is because this governor has been acting as if he is a tyrant. He's been acting as if he's our dictator. And he's got terrible judgment. Just look at the way he, his terrible judgment, terrible policies destroyed tens of thousands of businesses during the last year, for example. All he had to do was follow what Florida did or Texas did, and we would still have thousands and thousands of businesses alive today, open, hundreds of thousands of jobs alive today, but for what this empty suit, frankly, in Sacramento did. But what he's doing is he is following through on a continuous unlocking of our prisons. And in fact, he emptied out prisons, a large chunk of our prisons, during the last year. While we were all locked down our houses, supposed to be locked down our houses, people were being let out of prisons.
My question is, Eric, okay, what are we gaining out this?
What are we gaining?
Yes.
We're gaining a lot of crime. That's what we're going to gain.
I understand that. Beside that, okay, I'm sure there is some logic behind that, or explanation. We're doing this because. So we're doing this what? Why?
Why? What is the justification?
Exactly.
Well, the justification is that the amount of money that's spent on housing prisoners, they'll say, will be saved.
So we're saving that.
We're under an order to relieve the amount of overcrowding in prisons and stuff like that. So they're saying they're following a court order to relieve overcrowding in prisons. But there are ways to deal with overcrowding in prisons without emptying the prisons. If we need more prison beds, we build more prison beds, all right? Frankly, there are ways to do that, public-private. You know, there are private prisons also. When a state such as ours, which frankly is financially bankrupt, notwithstanding the surplus that this governor claims we have, you enter into contracts for private parties to build prisons. But again, going back to what I just said, we have a governor who claims we have a financial surplus in this state of billions of dollars. If we need more beds, use that surplus to build more prison beds, not empty out the prisons to deal with the overcrowding that the
Can we start programs to rehab the inmates prior to releasing them?
Well, you know, prisons are supposed to be rehabbing inmates.
Okay.
And there's a certain part of the population that can be rehabbed. But there's a huge part of the population for which rehabilitation doesn't work, and yet a large portion of those people will be back on the streets. And I mean, just look at these statistics. In the last 3 years, crime has risen, violent crime has risen by 30% in the state of California. A lot of these people end up as homeless on the streets. You know what's going on in our state. We have a homeless epidemic of historic proportions where people are living and dying on the streets. You know, you combine this kind of stuff with the fact that we have other laws on the books that allow, for example, somebody to go into, in the state of California right now, this is called Proposition 47.
Right.
And this was actually voted on by Californians.
Sure.
But I'll explain to you why Californians, or how Californians were fooled into voting for this. And what Proposition 47 allows is for Stefan, let's say let's say you're down on your luck, or you're not down on luck, you're doing great. You can go into your local department store. I don't know, you wear nice clothes. Let's say you go into Bloomingdale's, okay? If you steal anything under $950 in Bloomingdale's today, the most you can get is a misdemeanor. The most.
Okay.
And law enforcement doesn't have time to spend their time taking in people who only have potential for a misdemeanor against them.
Okay.
Most of these people get away with it, and you can do that every single day of the week on every occurrence. Steal up to $950 in a store, at somebody's business, at somebody's home, break into somebody's car. As long as it's under $950, these people get off continuously. And this is part of what I call this criminal's paradise in this state. For example, up in San Francisco, Walgreens announced recently that it's closing 17 stores up there because of the shoplifting that goes on in Walgreens. They can't stop it. Nobody knows this law that I just told you about more than the criminals. Some of them go in with calculators. They're just adding it up. Stay under 950. And then what you've heard up there, so Walgreens, 17 stores, all those jobs, all those stores for the community. I'm talking about every race, creed, and color. They've lost 17 of those Walgreens. Then people walk down the street and they see basically stores set up out on the street from the people who've stolen all this stuff.
Right.
Walgreens out on the street selling everything that they sold. Now let me tell you about this Proposition 47, and it's just one of the many examples of the huge law enforcement and law and order problems we're having in this state. When Kamala Harris, who is now our vice president, was the Attorney General of the state of California, she pushed forward a proposition, she was a big supporter of it, Proposition 47. The Attorney General writes what you see when you go to the ballot box, right? When people go to vote.
Right.
The name given to Proposition 47 was the Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. Yes.
Most of us in California, when we go to vote, you know, we see there's the thing, the booklet, whatever. The only time we've ever known about what a proposition is about is when we read the little booklet or the thing that's in the voting
very
booth.
first two sentences.
Okay. Well, who drafts that? The Attorney General drafts that. Kamala Harris wrote a paragraph under the title Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act. That was what Proposition 47 was called. And then the whole paragraph was about how this is going to be, if you vote for this, we're going to have safer neighborhoods and schools. Of course the people are going to vote for this, right? We all want safe neighborhoods and schools.
But this is not
and what did it do? It allowed for now criminals to go in You steal anything under $950 on each occurrence. I don't care if you do it 3 separate times in a day. It's a misdemeanor. It's led to a crime wave. It's led to an explosion in homelessness. It's led to, it took away the incentive for drug rehabilitation because before, those kind of thefts were a felony.
Right.
And the judge had the option of saying, listen, if it was a person with drug addiction, we'll reduce it. It won't be a felony. We'll reduce the charges if you go into a drug rehabilitation program.
Right.
All that was gone by Proposition 47. This is what we've gotten from this Politburo up in Sacramento. I'll tell you something, we need people in power, and I believe that law can be rescinded and repealed based on something as an attorney we do all the time. We sue for fraudulent inducement. Stefan, if you enter into a contract based on false pretenses, right? You enter a contract thinking you're getting, you're getting to buy this TV set for, and they say it's worth $9,000. And then it turns out, well, the TV set was only worth $3,000.
Right.
You entered into it based on lies, false statements. You go to a lawyer can get the contract rescinded based on something called fraudulent inducement. Right. We should get Proposition 47 repealed for the same reason. So, welcome to California, folks, and this is why I'm fighting constantly. We have to get more, regardless of how you're registered to vote, we have to get more conservatives in our government to protect all of us, to protect conservatives, to protect, Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, people of all races, creeds, and colors. We need people in government who want to protect the people again. The people in government in this state right now could care less.
Ուրեմն, I will try to summarize.
See, I can talk more than you can talk, Stefan.
Exactly. Ամենակարևորը ուրեմն այստեղ շատ գեղեցիկ ձևով բացատրեց.
You're not going to translate everything I just
said.
No,
I'm just summarizing.
On, man, you can't possibly.
I'm summarizing it. So ուրեմն ամենակարևորը այդ էր, որ ուրեմն Proposition 47-ն այդ էր, որ եթե դուք որևէ մեկ ժամանակ քողության վրա բռնվիք $950 ավելի պակաս, ուրեմն դուք ձեր քրեական հոդվածը պետք չունի անպայման լինելու առաջ կգտնվեիք բանտ եւ պետք է նստեիք եւ պետք է ծառայեիք, բայց հիմա եթե այդ $950 պակաս քողություն ունեք, դա արդեն չի հաշվվի որպես քրեական հոդված, այլ բարձ սխալմունք եւ այլն։ Իսկ Էրիկը ինչ է ասում այստեղ, ասում է ոչ թե որ այս կամ այն կառավարությունը, այստեղ հարցը դեմոկրատներու կամ ռեփաբլիկաններու չէ, այստեղ հարցը օրենքներ ներկայացվեն, որ այս օրենքները կարողանան բոլորի համար օգտակար լինեն։ Ինչպես որ օրինակ այսօրվա մեր vice president-ը չէ, Digin Harris-ը, այնտեղ Kamala Harris-ը ինքը անցամբ ներկայացրած էր այդ հոդվածը Proposition 47-ը եսելու համար, որ այս եթե ընտրեք այս գետը մեր թբրոցները, մեր քաղաքները պիտի ավելի դառնան ապահով եւ երևակայեցեք մեջի ինչ է հստակ կերպով գրված է։ Եթե դուք քողության վրա բռնվիք, երթակ օրինակի համար գալերիա եւ որևէ մեկ խանութի մեջ քողություն ունեք եւ $950 ավելի պակաս է, դուք կրնակ առանցալի հոդվածը լալ։ Այս է հարցը, որ մենք Սակրամենտոյի պետք ունենք մարդոց, որոնք ունին հավատամք թե մարդու կյանքը պետք է բարելավվի։ Այս է հարցը եւ ոչ թե դեմոկրատ կամ republican. Because this is what I was trying to say. For example, I am a Democrat. You are a Republican. It doesn't mean that we're enemies.
All want safety.
No, exactly.
Right?
You want safety.
You want safety for yourself, for your wife, for your kids, for your mother, for your dad, for your family,
that's wonderful.
for your neighbors.
Exactly.
I want the same thing.
Yes.
But for some reason, we got people in power here who don't seem to get it, and they justify all of this stuff. Just look at the statistics. Crime has gone through the roof. No. Just look at it. Yeah. And we don't have to be geniuses.
The unemployment, and at the same time, I understand this money injection into the people. There are no factories that are functioning normally lately.
Yeah.
I mean, they're using this COVID-19 issue. I don't know. I mean, we can come back please promise me to come back.
I'll come back anytime, Stefan.
Thank you. So, because really, we need to tell people, they have to open their eyes and see what's going on. If it's needed, I can bring someone also from the other side, across the aisle. Let's find a solution for our, not only for us, but for our next generation, for our kids, for our grandkids.
Yes.
We're not here only for us, ourselves.
That's what I fight for, Stefan. I fight for our kids and our grandkids, okay?
Yes.
The next generations.
Absolutely.
I mean, really, what I fight for, and I'm going to be running for something else soon, I'm going to be announcing actually in 2 weeks.
And you're going to come on my show, and we're going to announce it too.
I want to do that.
Yes.
And this is an important position, and it touches on everything we're talking about today. But at the end of the day, you know, I love this country very much, and I see, I mean, there's people now. They call themselves socialists. Frankly, they're communists. They're coming out of the woodwork all around this country, and they're taking our freedoms. They're taking our liberties, and there are a lot of people who are getting empowered, doing terrible things to this country, and we cannot let it happen. I believe in freedom. I believe in liberty. I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in America, and we have people coming out of the woodwork everywhere right now, Stefan, who believe in just the opposite. They believe in government control of everything, government taking your property, government owning your businesses, government telling you what to do, and government taking your rights away. We see it creeping all over the place. I mean, there's so many things today that we're not even allowed to say in this country, in this bastion of freedom and liberty, and we're living in a country right now where they'll condemn you for saying certain things, where a couple years ago, of course, you could say this stuff. That's just the tip of the iceberg on what we're dealing with. So, yeah, I'm fighting for all of our kids and their kids because, you know, former President Reagan used to say, and I know a lot of your viewers might remember this, he used to say that America's the shining city on a hill, that we're a beacon of freedom, and light for not only everybody in America, but for this entire world. And we've had millions of people escape tyranny, escape communism, escape socialism, escape just evils of all kinds, to come here to start a life for their families, and to live in freedom and to live a good life. And former President Reagan also used to say, but we could lose this all in one generation. It's not a birthright. If we don't keep fighting for this, we could lose it all in one generation. Look at what we're living with and seeing and happening right now in America with these Antifas who are in a terrorist organization. I can go off on BLM too, frankly. They're a completely anti-American organization. And yet they're controlling the dialogue all over the place right now. So it's time for Americans to be strong again. We got a lot to fight for because we got to remain the shining city on a hill. Not only for the people here, but for example, the people in Armenia and Russia who are watching this show right now. We got to preserve America for the world.
That's why, because of that shiny light, I decided in 1985 to come to this great and blessed country.
Yeah.
And I still believe. So I can bring, honestly, we touched now so many issues. I love to bring someone from across the aisle. Let's sit together, because not criticize each other, but look for the solution.
I'll talk to anybody.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Problem is the people on the other side who I'm condemning and criticizing, who I call communists, they won't talk. But feel free to bring somebody in, Stefan.
Okay. So since today is Memorial Day, what is your message to our viewers?
Well, first of all, Memorial Day, you know, I salute all of the people, all of the brave men and women who fought for every single all of our liberty and freedom in America. You know, Memorial Day honors the fallen who fought for our country over the generations. And I salute every single one of them. And to all of our brave veterans, past, and to all of our men and women in the military now, I salute everybody on this, all of you on this Veterans Day, fighting to keep America strong. You know, my dad was a Marine. He fought in North Korea. He was in combat. He came back with a Purple Heart. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. My sister's son actually graduated from West Point yesterday. We're very honored about that. My wife's son, my stepson, is on an aircraft carrier right now, somewhere out there, we don't know where. You know, we're very proud of all of our men and women who support and fight for our country. So on Memorial Day, I salute all of you because, you know, this is the greatest country as far as I'm concerned on the face of the earth, and it's the people who fought for us then and now that keep it like this and keep us this shining city on a hill, not only for all of us, as I said, Stefan, but to every single person watching this show in every part of the world.
Thank you very much. So I'm taking your word for it, so I'm gonna see you back
Anytime.
here. So thank you very much for your
Thank
coming.
you.
And dear viewers, this concludes our today's program. And just because of today is a Memorial Day, I just prepared this a few sentences. In 1971, Memorial Day became a national holiday by an act of Congress, and it commemorates the veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Let us reflect on the sacrifice of the fallen heroes who lost their lives defending our nation at home and abroad. Since our nation's founding, over 1 million Americans from all races, ethnicities, and creeds have made the ultimate sacrifice to protect our freedom. As we remember the U.S. service members who have lost their lives, we also offer our thanks and appreciation to the families and loved ones they left behind. The servicemen and women who have served in the United States Armed Forces represent the diversity, the unity, and the strength of our nation. And that's why when every time you see a dollar sign and it says, E pluribus unum, we are one in many. And therefore, we are one nation under God, and please, let's stay this way.
I agree 1,000%.
Thank you,
Yeah.
and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Stefan.
Thank you.